All right, so here's our living as one decoder unit. This goes to our broadcast campus, one of our broadcast campuses. We are in a school in 2 locations. So 2 of our 5 locations are, we have to load in and load out each Sunday. And I just finished putting this together. And just to show you what we have set up, it's set up pretty simply. We have a firm and power conditioner up here. Turn that on. And then the living as one unit is down here. And turn that on. So from top to bottom, we have the firm power conditioner unit at the top. We have it's just a tiny Asus touchscreen computer that was recommended to us by the Living as One people. They apparently knew people who are using this touchscreen, and it seems to work really well. And it's kind of a small screen, but the touchscreen really does help. It's a bit easier to use. And then below that, we have our video switcher, a rack unit video switcher, and we use just 2 inputs. We use input 1 and input 8. Living as one is input 8, and then our ProPresenter computer is input 1. And all we'd have to do is select the 2 inputs, and we can switch between the 2 inputs, and gives us a nice crossfade. And again, the touchscreen is nice. You can just, touch the screen to sign in. And you can use your, once the cues load up, I have to select the event. That's right. As you can see, it makes it pretty easy to navigate. And you can just click go to your cues, whichever one cue you want to use, and then hit play, and it starts, and you can crossfade over to it wherever on your projector screens, wherever you're showing it. I have just another little rollout drawer here with a keyboard, so you can still use a keyboard if you need to, or with the touchscreen there, you don't really need a keyboard, but it's there just in case you need it. This is cheap. It was like Amazon. It was really not that expensive. And the rack unit is down there. In here we have the audio de-embedder and video distribution, so we can send video 4 different directions if we want to. And then the audio de-embedder. Something else helped kind of keep it nice and clean. We did spend the money on the Blackmagic rack unit to store the switcher. It just makes it a lot cleaner. And we also got the Blackmagic mini converter rack unit. It just, again, keeps things cleaner and simpler and easier to get to. So around the back, SDI, it's nice to use SDI too if you can, so that's another reason why we use the video switcher. SDI is just convenient, but we have our inputs and outputs. Internet goes here. We have this pass-through rack unit just with the pass-through pieces, just makes it easier to plug into. Audio out, which goes to front of house. We're only going mono, just because the remote campuses are only using only watching the message, so they really needs to be in a mono send. And then our ProPresenter, it's kind of hard to see. Let's see if we can brighten it up a bit. Our ProPresenter plugs into this HDMI input right here. Light's really bad. Come on. Anyways, we have an HDMI input right here that it plugs into, and then we have 2 outputs. One goes to our projector, and one goes to our walk-in area, atrium, or foyer, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And we also have 2 video sends. And when you switch between the Living as One unit or between ProPresenter, it's just a nice crossfade. There's no blip or no twitch. I think it's a 20 unit rack unit, rolling rack unit, and it's an OSP rack. Seemed to be as good as any. Your opinion, you might have different opinions on rolling rack units. It doesn't bother me. And that's everything in a nutshell. And the touch screen really does make it a lot easier to use. And it's a good height if you're just going to sit at it with a chair. So someone can sit in front of it on a chair and set it all up and cue it and fire it when it's time. So that's why it's kind of like only 20 units high. It's not really made to be stood next to, but you take a chair and you sit down. So you can sit next to your ProPresenter person, or however you want to. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for your time.